Afternoon. Thank you for recording, Lenny. Thank you for joining us this Wednesday afternoon. This is actually our first roundtable in having conversations with manufacturing in the trade area. So we're excited about that. There's so many opportunities in career pathways that you can take in this industries. And I feel like this panel is a great start for that. I'm not sure if anyone is familiar and know me right now. I just want to stop for 1 second. Trish, you want to click the got it button? If anyone knows me, my name is Keisha Bell Ross. I am the Director of Career Development. The Career Development Center, if you're not familiar with our office, is located in the Student Service Center in SSC 004. We are there to help you with your resumes, help you with your job searching. We will help you with internship opportunities and also help you prepare for interviews. So if you have not been to Career Development Center, please stop by and join us and follow us on our social media sites. We are on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, and stay connected to events. I want to introduce our group. Come on in. Hi, I want to introduce our panel to you. I want to start off introducing to you. I want to introduce Deb Whiteman. Hi, Deb. Deb is the HR manager at Burkholder HVAC. Deb, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Thank you. I've been working in construction and manufacturing for over 20 years from an HR perspective. So it's really great to see everyone here interested in those careers. Right now at Burkholders, we're a heating and air conditioning company in the Lehigh Valley. And before that, I was at a CHL Systems, and they have machinists and welders and everything else. So I have experience in both manufacturing and construction.
Awesome. Thank you, Deb. And I want to introduce our Associate Professor, Tim Brady. Hi, Tim.
I'm here. This is my 7th year. And my background is my family has a HVACR company, and I've come out of industry. And I have worked from being a technician. I've earned my certifications in the field. I also have a degree in electrical engineering. And the tie-in between industry and HVACR is very beneficial for people to learn. One is just larger size than the other. And I've had the opportunity and pleasure to work with the 2 people on each side of me as we work closely with a lot of the companies and hopefully place students with these companies.
Thank you, Tim. And next to Tim, we have Clint. Hi, Clint.
Hello. You ready?
Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and where you're from?
I work for Jack Lair Heating and Cooling. I'm the a little closer. I'm the vice president of the company. So we do heating and air conditioning now for about 50 years this month. And we work closely with the school and students and all the opportunities in HVAC.
Thank you. And last but not least, we have Chris Delano.
Hi, I'm currently employed by LCCC as maintenance. I'm also the residential wiring instructor. And previously I worked in the electrical field for 25 years in IBEW. So I can answer any electrical questions you may have. And that's what we're here for today.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. So I have a list of questions that I'm going to ask the panelists. At the end, I am going to leave time for some Q&A for you guys to ask some questions. So if you think of something, please hold tight to it and we'll get them in. And we have some people here on Zoom. Zoom people, we will get to your questions as well. So so just hang tight to Q&A. And if you can't hear us or you need us to repeat something, just let us know. Okay, so the first question I have, and I'm going to start off with Deb. What are the most common misconceptions about working in manufacturing or in your trade?
I would think that the most common misconceptions are that one, it's like a maybe it's not the cleanest thing to do, but a lot of the shops and companies out now, they're really, upping their game and making sure that the work environment for their employees is nice to work for. Obviously in construction, you are out in the elements, but when you're getting into the shops and, we try to provide nice trucks for people and make sure they have the top of the line safety equipment, things like that.
Tim?
I would say the misconception is that you're kind of pigeonholed into one particular thing when you're in manufacturing or in the trades. Probably the first thing that comes to mind when you're in the trades, every single day is different. Morning to afternoon could be different jobs, some good environments, some bad. When you're manufacturing, you might be, depending on what your job is, if you're in maintenance, you're going to be all over the building and you'll have a lot of different jobs, but not quite as if you're in the trades. Some people prefer to be in the trades like the electricians or HVAC because the scenery changes every day. Some people don't like that. But if you work in manufacturing, you go to the same building every day, might have the same hours. So the work is the same, the requirements are the same. I think it becomes a personal preference if you want to work in manufacturing or the trades. Very easy to switch back and forth.
Thanks, Tim. Clint?
Some of the stuff we ran into was maybe we're less educated because we work with our hands more. We don't always go to college and all that kind of stuff. That doesn't mean we can't make a fantastic living. But yeah, it's a lot of the education, and our education does not stop. This is my 27th, 28th year in doing this. And every year you're learning something. Every month you're learning something. It does not end. We're an evolving trade. All the trades are evolving daily with technology.
So staying educated and staying certified and up to date on what's going on is very important.
We recertify yearly.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Okay. Chris?
Yeah, same thing. It's people think once you get in it, you're done. You don't have to keep learning, but you learn something new every day, especially in electricity. There's all kinds of new fancy stuff that comes out, programmable controllers, motor controllers, different types of lighting, motion sensors. And some people think you just come in, hook up some wires and you're done, but there's a lot to learn every day.
Chris, what are the biggest challenges that you face in your industry?
Sometimes you're working in extreme conditions. It could be really, really hot. It could be really, really cold, especially in construction. You're in buildings that aren't heated yet or cooled. It's dirty a lot of times. It's loud. That's one of the things. Something you go to places to work, you have no drawings. You have to figure out what wire does what. You don't even know where anything starts from. So you have to right off the bat, get your bearings of where things come from. And then keeping jobs on time and on budget is a big thing, especially with the cost of materials nowadays. You really have to just hustle and get things done.
Thank you. Clint, what are your biggest challenges that you face in your industry?
Consumers.
And when you say that, what do you mean?
Wow, that's broad reaching, right? Consumers, as the economy changes yearly, buying habits change. Consumers change, Gen Xers change, technology changes. So therefore you have to constantly adapt, change your processes to adapt with everything. But dealing with the public, dealing with consumers is not easy because everybody is different. And when you're in the trades, as I say, you're in their playground. You go to their facility. If you're a doctor, all your patients come to you. It's your world. In our life, we come to you. We're in your world. We're on your premises. We're in your stomping grounds. Therefore, we have to adapt to the environment we're in and the consumer we're dealing with. And communication, everybody communicates differently. So the way you talk to a housewife is different than the way you talk to the husband, is different than the way you might talk to a landlord. So we adapt to our environment daily as we go on. And that's some of the challenges.
Thank you. That's good to know. Tim?
I'd say from the education part is we need to have the students prepared to actually had to prepare them to learn. We teach them the basics here, but they actually learn out in the field at the companies. Some companies deal with certain equipment. and some don't, or they're different brands. So we can't possibly teach everyone how to fix every single air conditioning in the world. So we treat them, from the advisory boards, many of the companies have told us, train the students very well on the basics, and we'll take over from there. So they won't electrocute themselves, or they don't cause some kind of problem with the customer's home. So if they learn the basics, that's what our goal is. And I think the other challenge is people coming into the programs, I'll just say from high schools, they have no idea what the trades are like. They may have heard something that they pay well, or this is a pretty interesting job. And then when they actually see what the trades are like, it's like, whoa, this isn't for me. Maybe like knowing that they have to work in the attic in the summer at 115 degrees. And then some of them say, I've never saw this before. And they come in and said, this is incredible. I really like this. So we need to be flexible, and we have to know what the employers are looking for, and we try and keep up with that.
From an HR perspective, I think that one of the biggest challenges we face is finding people to work in our trades. It's just kind of, as these guys alluded to, it's, may not be the first career that people want to choose, but it's a really good career, and it's a great place to get your feet wet, continue learning for the rest of your life, and there's room for advancement. We have a lot of people that start in the field and now are in the office. So it's not just, you're not just pigeonholed, like we kind of said before. There's a lot of things to do within this industry.
I want to highlight salary. I think people don't think about the salaries that are involved in being in the trades or being in manufacturing, and the opportunities that's available, as far as like maybe overtime that might be needed, or just the skill sets that will bring your salary and increase your salary. I think those people don't think about that opportunity. They just see like the dirty trade or or the ongoing learning, but the benefits outweigh what you go through, right? So clearly, if it was worth 115 degrees some days, right? Okay. So the next question I have is, how do you see the industry evolving over the next few years? And I'm going to direct this to Tim, and then to Clint, and then if Deb and Chris want to answer, I'll let you guys answer.
I've come to the conclusion, I think what's going to happen down the road is it's a blank slate. We'll keep building on what we have, but things keep changing. 10 years ago, we made a big jump to one type of refrigerant. And now in the next 2 or 3 years, we're going to say, well, that's going to kind of disappear. You got to learn some other refrigerants. Technology keeps evolving. And it's kind of like when you buy your own computer at home, you thought, well, I have a great computer. And a month later, you find out, man, this thing's old. Everybody else has much better computers. We're always behind the curve at the school. The companies that are here, they're more on the cutting edge, and we have to learn from them. But I think it's an open field as far as what's going to happen in the future. And it may be financial, maybe a technology breakthrough, and you just have to be flexible enough to adapt to it and excel at it.
Yeah, the refrigerant change is coming. January 2025, we're going to flammable refrigerants for the first time in history, which is going to require all new outfitting. So technology is pushing that. Government has mandated higher efficiency equipment and new testing. So that is changing manufacturers and the equipment they produce and how they operate. And then what's really starting to come on strong is artificial intelligence. If you use it right, you can make your life in the office a lot easier. You can audit work orders with artificial intelligence. It can write blogs for you. It can do social media posts for you. It can do a lot of stuff. So the technology is really, really evolving. And it's not just heating and air, it's business in general, and software changing and everything you have to keep up with.
In the electrical industry, there's a lot of solar panels going up, and that's a definite future. Electric cars, they're going to need charging stations all over. But, you actually see them on the roads, like in rest areas and stuff. So there's a lot of work for that to be done. And that's only going to get more and more as far as I can see.
Deb, can I ask you on an HR and with technology, with everything evolving, how's that going to change your approach and how's that going to affect the HR end of it?
I have started using AI in a couple things that I do inside the office. It has been very helpful. I think out in the field, a thing that's going to change is that the trades are going to be so in demand. Fewer and fewer people are getting into the trades, and we have a lot of people retiring. Now would be a great time to get in and learn as much as you can from the guys that are on their way out. And like you're going to learn most of your stuff out in the field, and there's a wealth of knowledge right there, right now. So I would take advantage of it while you could.
Deb, I'm going to ask you, look, since you started, I'm going to start on this end and go all the way down. What is your company's approach to sustainability and environmental responsibility?
These guys can probably answer that question a little bit more, but the new refrigerant that's coming out, we're already training our people on it. We constantly go to classes, and any of the new technology that's out there, the guys get training on it just to make sure that we're staying up to date with the latest possible. And I think that's true for all companies, whether you're in manufacturing or construction.
Right now at school, we're looking at, we just received a grant to, let's say, introduce green technology training. We're looking at carbon dioxide and flammable refrigerants. We're going to buy a trainer that is for propane. And we're starting to look at the hand tools that we need, manifolds and things like that. So we are looking at the green technology and the challenge that we have, and everyone in the field. We're getting into green technology now, but we still have a boatload of the old technology that we need to address. And there are environmental requirements for the old technology and refrigerants, things like that. So we have just added another ball to the juggling act.
Yeah, as far as what we do is sustainability and environmental, we recycle everything. So we recover refrigerant, we resell it back to manufacturers for reprocessing so it doesn't go into the environment. And at Jack Lair, we recycle everything. Cardboard, old units, wire, you name it, it gets recycled. It goes to recycling facilities. We don't throw it in the trash. Trash goes in the trash, and that is it. So we try to be as clean and green as we can with what we do. Monetary economy, fuel economy on vehicles. Don't have too many gas guzzlers, just little different things like that. And then just recycling and doing our part as best as we can.
I have using and promoting LED lighting. That saves a lot of energy. Again, solar power is a big thing. Why pay for power if you can make your own? And recycling, I have that. Every time you take out wire, you recycle it. You don't throw it in the garbage. Old lights or metal, you take that to the scrapyard. They make something new out of it. So you covered most of the recycling stuff.
The next question I'm going to ask, I think we touched on it, but maybe someone can give a little bit more insight. How do you ensure that your employees stay up to date with the latest technologies and trends in manufacturing?
Trade shows, and you can watch podcasts, have training seminars. Like electrical, there's a new code book every 3 years. So you can go, there's code classes that you can stay updated on all the new laws and rules for electrical. That's covers electrical trade.
We train every week. And that is not just skills training, that is soft skills training, that is customer training, that is CSR training, that is efficiency training, that is equipment training. We literally train every single week, 52 weeks of the year. That's how we keep up with it.
We try and stay current, and a lot of it is driven by the employers. Some of it is just OSHA safety, Some of it is the environmental. So we're always a little bit behind the companies out in the field, but we try and keep up with them. It's just some of it falls on the individual. Some of the very good individuals in their jobs, they take it on themselves to learn different things. We talked about the videos and a lot of webinars you can attend, and some people take advantage of it, some don't. A lot of them are recorded so you can watch them when you're not at work. And we have seen more companies taking the time out and saying, we are going to do the training on company time, and it's not an option. So everyone is up to speed on what they need to know. So there's a lot of different driving forces that encourage you to keep current.
Obviously, like everyone else, we do a lot of training all the time. We have an apprenticeship program for new people in the trades. We send them to through a 4-year apprenticeship program. Obviously, that comes with increases throughout your 4 years. We work with vendors to provide training. We also, there's certain certifications that are required to work in certain places. So we encourage our people to get that, and we compensate them when they obtain certain certifications. So there's a lot of things out there for, the guys to get. It's just up to them to take advantage of it. And then, we'll reward them for that.
I have a pop question that I just thought of and thought it would be good to know. So with all of us sitting in the room, and let's just say all of us had open, clean slates to start career opportunities, what would you say to the group of us who have this learning opportunity at LCCC to pick up a trade or go into manufacturing and to pick up the skill sets? What are you looking for from your company? What would you be looking from that individual? So if they were coming to you saying, okay, yeah, well, your company looks good. What do I need to do to get there? Or what would you expect of me as an employee? Or what would you want? What would make me the prize candidate?
From my perspective, obviously, you have the base when you come out, and skills we can teach you. We can teach you technology. We can teach you all that stuff. We can't teach you to be reliable. We can't teach you to want to learn more, to take in from those around you. We can't teach you a good work ethic. Those are things that we expect. Those are things that I look for. I look for someone who's been able to stick with something, and they're not going to job hop every couple months because my company's putting in the time and the effort to train you, and that costs us money. So we want you to stick around so that we can get our return on our investment.
I would say that pretty much what you've said, but I think you have to be hungry. You have to want it. I think you also have to be aggressive enough that you can ask some questions. If you're here on campus, go to her department and just say, I want to get into culinary arts, but I also like other things. You'll be surprised how much they'll tell you. Well, these are all the things we teach here. These are fields you want to investigate. Probably half the students who would do that, they'd probably miss about 2/3 of the opportunities out there. It's also, you have the variations. If you go into HVAC, you could go into refrigeration, go into heating and cooling, go into air quality. You just need to want to learn, put the time in. You're not going to learn this overnight. Some people are frustrated they don't grasp an electrical circuit the first couple of times. It's kind of like sometimes you'll do this for 6 or 8 weeks, and all of a sudden you walk into a job and say, now I understand that. But you got to be patient. People don't want to hear they have to pay your dues. You have to pay your dues. It's that simple.
Yeah, same thing. Work ethic, reliability, come to work with a good attitude, personality, because you will be dealing with the public and consumers. So you got to be able to talk to people. If you're one of those who looks down at people when you're talking to them, it's not going to work. You got to have a certain kind of rapport that you can build quickly. But work ethic, reliability is key. Showing up every day, ready to work, ready to do what you need to do. Basically, I just say yes. We say jump in the ditch, jump in the ditch. Don't say, really, you want me in there? And yeah, I want you in the ditch. Get in there. We say elbows down and butt up. That's basically what I want to see. You should be working. And come ready to work to do that. And you put in the effort. We will put in as much effort into you as you are putting into your job. And if you don't want to try, don't try. We're not going to help you. If you want to go 110%, we're going to give you 120%. We want to see you exceed. So you got to come with that kind of personality, just ready to do what you need to do.
Yeah, exactly what they're saying. Be willing to learn, be reliable, be able to solve problems quickly and efficiently. And but just have a good positive attitude when you go onto the job site. Just look like you want to be there. Don't stand there moping around, because that's one of the worst things you could see when you go in the morning and you have somebody standing there like they really don't want to be there. Because like he said, you might get thrown in the ditch that day and you just, okay, go in there, do your work, and it'll pay off in the end.
So everything that you all have spoke about are professional skills that we talk about in career development when we're building up new skill sets that are needing critical thinking, communication, personality, soft skills like communication and customer service. So if anyone ever struggles with those things or want more details, again, career development, we are here for you Monday through Friday. We take virtual appointments, face-to-face appointments, over the phone if you need to, but we are here for you. So always make an appointment and we can help you. I'm going to open it up to Q&A for everyone. Can we start off with Zoom people? Since you guys are on Zoom, we'll let you go first. Lenny, do you see any questions? Does anyone have a question? We do have Fred here. I want to put Fred on the spot. He is currently an LCCC student in the trades. Fred, can you tell us a little bit about what you're learning and your experience as a student and what got you into it? And then we'll go to the questions.
Most of that, that's a long answer. Most of it won't relate to why we're here, but
Well, make it relatable and then tie it into career development.
yeah, what I liked about my career is background and career was in human resources. So when I started working at the college, I had this opportunity to take classes here. So I wanted to do something totally different, right? And from a practical standpoint, as a homeowner, I know what I have to pay for the contractors to come in, and I figured like that there are good careers out there that these people can make good money. I think from what everyone has said, depending on the commitment level, right? And even with a contractor, I think, do you want to work for someone and have the security of the benefits and stability of a company over you, or do you want to go out and kind of set up your own business and the potential that's out there? I like the practicality of it, and here talking to students, I like tying the other components in. A lot of people say, why do I need to take math? And I just feel like math relates to everything, right? And it can be ratios or equipment panels that you're working on. Or the example I usually use is when we were studying transformers and learning about induction. And then I'm thinking like, oh, there are induction ranges in people's kitchens. Now I understand how that works. How can the electricity come from inside the stovetop to make my food hot without ever, So it was sort of the practicality of how people use industry and manufacturing.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions that's on Zoom?
There are no questions in the chat yet.
Okay. We have a studio audience on the left-hand side that you cannot see because of the camera. Does anyone have any questions in the room? No? You have some great people here that may connect you to the industry, take advantage of it. We do have a question from one audience member.
Oh, there we go. This is maybe like more technical, not necessarily related to careers, but I keep hearing people talk about flammable refrigerant. What is that? And it sounds scary. And what's the why is there making a transition? I guess what's behind this move to flammable refrigerant? Just out of morbid curiosity.
Yeah, so it's what they call A2L refrigerants, so they're flammable. So it was imposed years ago by the EPA to phase out refrigerants, get rid of chlorine and all that from CFCs to HCFCs to HFCs, all that kind of stuff. So in order to reduce the hole in the ozone layer, all that other kind of stuff, they've had to rework their chemical components. And part of that has propane. About a 10% propane is inside the refrigerant at this point. So therefore, it's going to be flammable. The reason for doing it and what they're changing over is you can use less refrigerant per system. So if it releases, it actually has a worse global warming, the GWP? Yeah, global warming percentage factor. So 410 right now is less damaging to the environment, but you have to use more of it. So when there's a leak, it's actually more detrimental. So they're going with A2Ls because you can do the same capacity with about 30% of the quantity in the unit. Is it worse for the environment when it comes out? Yes, it is. It's actually more dangerous, but there's less of it out there. So therefore, that's why they're going that. When I say flammable, that's why it's going that way. So our equipment has to change, has to all be brushless. We can't have anything with sparks. So your recovery machines, your vacuum pumps, everything, your trucks have to have certain ventilation, storage areas have to be ventilated. It is a major, major change. And on average per truck, you're probably gonna be running $5,000 to $8,000 per truck to change your equipment. So for companies that have 30, 40, 50 vehicles on the road, you can do the math. Top of the training and the certification, and all your old stuff is not compatible. Your jugs, your recovery jugs, you cannot use anymore. Your recovery machines, you cannot use anymore. Your vacuum pumps, you cannot use anymore. So you're not only going to have to carry everything for the new refrigerant, you still have to carry everything for the old equipment. So your trucks are actually going to get heavier, twice the equipment, a lot. So yeah, it's that's what I mean when I say flammable refrigerants. It's all A2L, and there are different refrigerants out there. Each manufacturer is basically making their own blend at this point.
Yeah. Do you all as professionals have, do you advocate? So these laws are coming down from federal, I imagine, and state laws. Do you all as professionals have a say in this, or are you just okay, we'll do it?
They say if you want to make a difference, go vote. I'll be a realist. There are trade organizations that do go on Capitol Hill and fight. ACA is one of them. There are other ones who go and that's what they do. They fight for different legislation to try and make it. There has to be a balance. You can save the environment being clean and green, but at what cost? So there's a lot of it going with electrical generation now, and everybody's saying, go EV, go EV. Does anybody really understand that the power grid cannot handle it? If every house had an electric car, PP&L's power grid is going to crash. See, people don't think about that kind of thing. So then you have advocates that go and try to get in front of Congress and that to say, we understand what you're trying to do. Great. But there's got to be a meeting of the minds here. There's reality to what you're asking. So there are organizations that fight for that and all that kind of stuff. Just like anything else in this world, there are lobbyists who go in there and fight for what they're looking for.
Interesting. Thank you.
Yep.
So I feel like the studio audience beamed in question in my head that I'm going to ask. Because LCCC, we always say, start here and go anywhere. And I see we have an HR manager, we have associate professor, we have a vice president sitting here, and we also have an electrician / adjunct / facilities worker here. So if you guys can just go down the line, and I'll start with Chris, the start here part. So I'm starting here. So we have the studio audience. Woo! That's starting here. can you just say like, okay, give us your starting point and how you got to here, just like a brief synopsis that you think might be impactful to us?
So I went to Votech and took electrical course. And from there, I went and got hired by an electrical company. And then I got into the electricians union, went through a 5-year apprenticeship with them. And actually, I did a bunch of jobs on this campus as a contractor. And then when their electrician retired, I decided I wanted to come over onto the maintenance side. And yeah, I also took any training at work that was offered for me. I always signed up for, because I think when you work for someone, if they're offering you training, you always take the training. And then I got actually offered we started an electrical residential wiring course, and I got asked if I would be interested in teaching that. So I'm doing that. And I think from that as a stepping stone, if I have a student that's really excels and wants to possibly look to get to work, I have a lot of contacts that I can get them into. So I think, again, it's up to the individual to take the course and then motivate yourself and take the next step. Or you might try it and not like it, because that's the other thing. If you don't like it, there's no point in even going to the next level.
That's basically the same as him. I went to tech school for 1 year, and then that's all I've done since I came out of school. And you just get in with different companies. You learn as you progress. You at some point decide, as you're younger, I won't lie, I mean, as I came out at 17, I graduated at 17, I wasn't quite sure. It takes you a few years to get your legs under you and figure out what you're going to do. You go to a few different jobs, and then you're like, well, I sort of like this one, I'll go back to this one, and then off you go. So 27-ish years later, just yep. So I mean, I started as an apprentice, new construction homes, putting in ductwork, digging ditches, putting plumbing underground, all the way down to setting fixtures, to service work, refrigeration work, commercial work, rooftop units, hospitals, residential, I mean, hotels, all sorts of stuff. Hydrojetting, sewer cleaning, plumbing. I've done all sorts of stuff in the heating, air conditioning, and plumbing trade since the mid-90s. And then you eventually sometimes just find your niche. You land with a good company, and company recognizes your effort, and you put forth the effort. And when that sort of risk and reward works out well, you get to progress through companies. And I've just been very fortunate to land where I have been since 2008. And at the end of the year, we'll be president of the company. Yeah.
I'm going to stop and give you a huge congratulations for that. Congratulations.
I had said earlier, my family had a refrigeration business. So my first jobs were doing some of the basic work. We used to service drive-in theaters, which kind of gone by the wayside. And the owners of the theater never turned the water off in the restrooms over the winter. So every spring, my job was to go to these places and fix all the leaks in the water lines. So that's how I learned how to solder. And I would also go to make some service calls to help my father, and had some equipment on a truck and say, see if the unit has a leak. And if I could fix the leak, I would, but usually I just charged it up, got them keeping the food cold until he got there. And then I was doing work from full time, and he said, I think you should go to college and get a bachelor's degree. He said, because down the road, you're going to need that to open up doors for you. So I got my associate's degree and my bachelor's degree. I was in industry. I worked in maintenance in a copper company, and they needed someone to operate their water and wastewater system. So I said, okay, what do I have to do? So I got my water and wastewater licenses. And then I was doing customer service, would sell product to someone and they would use it incorrectly. My job was go out there and say, here's how you fix it, and train them how to use it. And then I decided this is pretty neat. So I got my master's degree in education, and I'm here kind of mixing education and the technical end. So my advice would be never turn down an opportunity to learn something or get certified. You never know where it's going to take you. And it's been an exciting ride for me.
Deb.
I grew up working in restaurants. One of my responsibilities was to train people. I love dogs. So I started my own dog training business. While that wasn't, while that was getting off, I found a job with a construction company. And then I've been in the trades ever since. And kind of like these guys were talking about, I did two things throughout my career. I showed interest and, my employer recognized that and promoted me into the position that I have today throughout the years. And I also took every opportunity that I had to learn something new and take new classes. And I got some credentials behind my name. So it's just everything that you do, your career is your responsibility. So do what you can to further it.
Thank you. I want to thank everyone for joining us online and in the room. Career development, again, we have events going on throughout the whole entire year. We welcome you to join. The one big thing I think I'm taking away from this, I know I'm taking away from this, is never stop learning, always be open, always be willing, positive attitude, and be growth, and know your why and have your push. And that's what's going to keep you going. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining us, and help yourself. Bye.